Hello, I wanted to do a reading update about what I'm currently reading. I'm sorry if I'm talking a bit quietly, it's late and my mum is sleeping, so I don't really want to wake her up. I'm going to try in this video to actually look in the camera, not at me, because I've been noticing that I've been doing that since I've started to use my phone as my camera, so I'm going to try and look in the camera. I am currently reading The Lord of the Flies by William Golding. This was the first book that I ever read in an academic setting. I was 12 or 13 in high school and we read this, and we actually read it, the teacher wanted to make sure that we read it, so she actually read out every chapter to us. And I think that was actually a really poor way to introduce us to this book because it's very wordy, and I remember hating it for the amount of description there was of the island and of everything, and I just thought it was so, like, my 13-year-old brain wasn't really interested. I've been wanting to reread it for a really long time because you know, my 21-year-old brain picks up on things differently than when I was 13. Honestly, I forgot a lot of the plot. Like, I remembered the basics, you know, a group of schoolboys land on an island, they're stranded, and then they kind of go feral. It's the basic plot that people know, and I know what happens at the end, which I won't spoil. Like, some really terrible things happen on the island, but I forgot how many terrible things happen, and I forgot how vividly they are described. That's, I think, the biggest difference reading it being older. Like, when I was younger, you know, we had a fantastic English teacher, and I really understood, you know, the microcosm for war and for human instinct and all of that stuff. I got the human aspect of it, but the writing I wasn't really capable of appreciating at that point. So reading it now, I notice the writing a lot more, and it's really unique. On the one hand, I really like the images that it conjures up in my brain. They are horrific and vivid and tactile. Like, I feel like I know this island in a very ugly way. Like, I feel the ugliness of the island, and I don't mean aesthetically. Aesthetically, it's beautiful, but it's hot, it's humid and sticky and rainy and boiling and covered in flies and, you know, grimy and dirty. Like, you feel, like, I feel it, how just ugly this island is as a place. But having said that, I actually don't like reading it. The actual writing, like the process of reading the writing, is really unpleasant for me. I find it very convoluted and kind of boring and kind of almost vague. It's like you're using too many metaphors here, and I actually want to know exactly what's going on. I really prefer more literal writing, but at the same time, when I step back, when I actually put down the book and I finished reading the chapter or whatever, and I think about the images that were conjured up, they were beautifully conjured. Like, they're not beautiful images, but they are so vivid, and I've never had that sort of dichotomy with a book before, and that's why I call this book unique, because on the one hand I hate the writing, and on the other hand I love the images that it creates in my head. I've never had that experience before, so I have a lot of mixed feelings about this book, and I'm really looking forward to the crash course video that is coming up. That sort of was my motivation to finally get around to rereading it. Crash Course Literature is coming back this year, I think, and they're doing Lord of the Flies, and I have heard on his podcast that John Green really doesn't like Lord of the Flies, so I'm really looking forward to that video. Let me know what you think of this classic. I haven't finished it yet. I have about 1 or 2 chapters to go, and those are the chapters that I remember the most, so I'm kind of dreading them because I know what happens. And thank you for watching.